Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fella right here, Double Ditto. And you might be thinking to yourself, as I did as I started doing this review, why in the world is Sam Healey reviewing a party game? Does he not hate and dislike every single party game out there? Well, no, that's a little bit of an overstatement. I would much rather play some other kind of game, but I'm okay with playing party games in the right group of people, I guess you could say. And so I saw this and I thought, man, you know, that might be a good one to play with my youth group. So I took it to youth group and played it a whole bunch. So let's go ahead and get down to the table. I'll show you how it works, and then we'll come back for my final thoughts after that. So in a game of Double Ditto, it's played over a number of rounds that's determined by the number of players that are there, but during the round, everybody's basically going to have a turn being the Ditto Master. The person who is the Ditto Master will take a card from whatever stack they want to and make sure that everybody knows that the category for this turn is, for example, embarrassing sounds. So they're going to take that and say, everybody, it's embarrassing sounds, and then he'll take this 15-second timer and turn it over. At that point, everybody has the 15 seconds to write down 2 words that are embarrassing sounds. All right, so we turn them over and we're ready to go. So I'm going to put fart and burp. And everybody has 15 seconds to do this. All right, so once the 15-second timer runs out, boom, everybody put their pens down, and then you go around the table one by one reading out your answers. So I say, all right, well, my first one is fart. That's so funny. And if somebody else wrote down that word fart or flatulence or gas or whatever it might be, anything that it would be very closely related to my word fart, then they would say ditto. If somebody else on this says ditto, I cross it out, which is a good thing, which means you got 1 ditto. And then I'll say, okay, my next one is burp. And then somebody says, ditto, I wrote down burp. Well, what about belch? Does that count? I was like, yes, that does. And so that would be a double ditto, which means I get 3 points for that turn. Now, if somebody else did not write down burp or fart, then I would only have 1 ditto there, which means that I would only get 1 point for that, not 3 for having 2. And then the next person would turn over and say, okay, things that are rough. All right, so here we go. We're going to turn it over, things that are rough. We're going to say dirt roads and scales. All right, so we're going to do that, or scaly skin, or whatever you want to say. All right, then we go through the same thing. Dirt roads. Well, I wrote down dirt. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's good. So we'll do that. That's 1 ditto. What about scales? Scales? What do you mean? The scales that like you weigh yourself on? No, scales like a scaly skin and all that stuff. No, nobody wrote that down. Okay, so whatever. I get 1 point for that round. And we continue going around until everybody has had the turn at least once to go around. You might do it twice if you have a fewer number of players. And then whoever has the most points is the winner. And so that's how you play Double Ditto. It's not very difficult at all. It's well nigh incredibly, massively simple. Now, it's almost like it's the opposite of categories, where in categories you're not getting points for writing down the same thing as somebody else. But in this game, you are getting points for writing the same thing down. And on top of that, the rules are very explicit that you can be very loosey-goosey about what does match. So, for example here, let me just show you in the rule book what they're talking about. Matching answers score points even if the answer is wrong or doesn't even make sense. Then it says, for example, if the category card reads countries in South America and 2 people write Papua New Guinea, they both score a point. Even though Papua New Guinea is not in South America. The answers don't necessarily have to be correct to score as long as they are matching another player. Another example of the loosey-goosey nature of the game. Things you do on your birthday. One player writes open presents. Another person says unwrap gifts. Well, it's basically the same thing. Even though you didn't write the same words, it's basically the same action, so it's okay. Those would actually be dittos. What about, though, if somebody says animals in the ocean, and one player writes fish, and another player writes salmon? Well, these would not be considered matching answers. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Like I said, loosey-goosey. If open presents and unwrapping gifts don't match, why does fish and salmon not match? Is salmon not a fish? I don't get it. See, so that's the loosey-goosey nature of the game. This is not one of those things where a rules lawyer needs to be present and say, oh, no, you can't do that. Yeah, you probably can. The timer is decent. It's probably run-of-the-mill from what you would find in one of these party games anyway. The cards, you get a whole mess of them. I mean, look at these things. They are coming out of the woodwork. I mean, you have a lot of cards that you can use to play this game, so no problems there. That's a good thing. The pad that comes where you write all of your answer on it, there's a whole bunch of these things as well, so that's good too. My thing is, why are we making these games again? This literally feels, Z and I were talking about this just a few moments ago, and this is a game that I have played before. It just had a little bit of a nuance to it, and it had a different name on it. It's the same stuff. Does it work? Yeah. Is it fun? Yeah. Does it spark fun conversations and interesting discussions? Yeah, it could. And interesting debates about what matches and what doesn't match. Yeah, it does all of that. So I guess as far as a party game is concerned, it does its job. It keeps things light and fluffy, and just allows people to goof around and have some fun, to kill some time, basically. As you can see, not really hot on my list. Even as party games go, I think this one is pretty on the low spectrum of party games, because really this just seems like a reboxing of something that was made 15, 20 years ago. So that is my thoughts on Ditto, or rather Double Ditto. We'll see you guys on the flip side.